So we know this isn't the year for quarterbacks in the draft. However, there is a chance more than one, or is there a chance that more than one could go in the top 10, maybe the top 15? Well, Ryan Wilson's latest mock draft only has one, Matt Corral, going in the top 10 to the Broncos. Ryan pointing out, while it's easy to talk yourself into a quarterback, sometimes it is better to upgrade positions around him. Taking a look at Ryan Wilson's latest mock draft, the top 10 there, you see Corral going 9 against the Broncos. The top 2, same as last week, but he does have Mississippi State's Charles Cross breaking into the top 10, going to the Panthers at 6, saying, yes, a quarterback here makes sense, but to remember one thing, fit matters. So let's welcome in the man behind all of the mock drafts, which are now legal, by the way. I believe this is number 21, Ryan Wilson. Let's start with Matt Corral to the Broncos. Talk to me about the fit for him there and why, compared to last week, we now just have one quarterback in the top 10.
It took me a second to get the 21 joke. That was good. I like that. Yeah, so I'll be celebrating after this segment here with my mock drafts, which will be really awkward. So, Denver Broncos, they need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater was a good bridge quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to be the long-term answer. We just heard Danny Cannell talk in the previous segment about how he may be wanted elsewhere as a bridge quarterback in that role. Clearly, their other quarterback hadn't worked out, the former second-round pick, and they may be moving on from Drew Lock as well. They have to figure out the coaching situation. Vic Fangio was fired at the end of their season, and right before Vic Fangio was fired, by the way, he said this, we have to have a quarterback to compete in this division, and he wasn't wrong. Matt Corral is my favorite quarterback. I feel like the infrastructure is in place in Denver. Clearly, the head coach has to be sorted out, but you have players on both sides of the ball that can help you win with a young quarterback, and that's obviously what Matt Corral brings. He brings athleticism. We saw this last night on full display in the best game in the history of sports with two incredibly athletic, smart, strong-arm quarterbacks. Matt Corral has all those things. I'm not saying he's either Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but that's the quarterback you need to compete in today's NFL, and especially in the AFC West. So I have him going 9th. Is that probably high for any quarterback? Yeah, in this draft class, certainly. But as I've talked for weeks and months, teams overdraft quarterbacks, and that's going to happen again this year. The only mitigating factor, and again, Danny talked about this previously, is if Aaron Rodgers ends up in Denver, then we'll have to reassess what we do here. But until we figure out the free agency situation, I like the idea of Matt Corral going in the top 10, and I think the Broncos might be one of the best fits should he go that high.
Ryan, I was just now looking at your mock draft from last week. You had Kenny Pickett going to the Broncos at 9 last week. Things a little different this week. The past 2 weeks, you've had the Saints taking Alabama's Jamison Williams there, but now you are turning to Kenny Pickett to the Saints at 18. Tell us why.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. And in this mock draft, I tried to approach it this way. What if teams actually filled needs and didn't overdraft positions? So that's why some of these quarterbacks got pushed down. And as I've said relentlessly and almost nonstop, these quarterbacks for the most part are probably closer to fringe early day 2 guys, second-round pick guys. That said, Kenny Pickett goes at 18 to the Saints. What's going on there? Well, they need a quarterback. Ian Book is probably not the guy. Their day 3 pick from a year ago. He had one start and didn't do so well in that one start, not surprisingly. Jameis Winston's up in the air, as he recovers from that ACL. Taysom Hill is not a full-time starter, and Trevor Siemian, as you see there, struggled when he was asked to start as a fill-in. So Kenny Pickett has had one of the best college seasons this year among any quarterbacks, and he did it as someone who made huge improvements from the season before, and you can't discount that. Also, going to the Saints is a great landing spot. They have a fantastic offensive line. They do have some skill position players, Alvin Kamara, of course. We'll see what happens with Mike Thomas. But now there's sort of a monkey wrench thrown into the plans with Sean Payton's future being in doubt. So we'll see what happens there. Even Saints owner Gail Benson said today she didn't know what was going on with Sean Payton. You'd have to ask him. So that's something that we have to wait to find out. But assuming Payton's there and how good he is with young quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett almost feels like a layup. You could bring him in. You're playing indoors. Don't worry about the weather. There are going to be some concerns about his hand size once he gets to the combine next week. But he's a really good football player that you feel like can assimilate immediately and come in and help your football team.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.